Hey everybody, Jeff here and welcome back to the channel. Man, do we have a great tool review here for you today, folks. This is the long anticipated, brand spanking new Dewalt. This is their 5 amp hour 550 PSI power cleaner. And we've all been waiting for this one because, as you know, over the summer, last summer, we did a couple of tool review videos for you. We did the Ryobi version and we did the Hart version. And both of those are essentially the exact same. They're made by the same company and they're pretty much the exact same thing, just under slightly different skin. Those are rated at 320 PSI, whereas this one is 550 PSI. This should be almost double the strength. So we're eager to get this tested. Now I went into Home Depot just a few days ago to pick this up, and they were just putting these out on the shelf. These aren't even online on the website yet, but as soon as they are, I'll have the links down below for you in the video description. I'll have our affiliate links into Home Depot and also on Amazon if it's there as well. And just so you know, when we put our links to these affiliate sites, you know, we get paid a small commission whenever you buy your tools and stuff like that through those links. And listen, we appreciate you supporting our channel in that manner when you use our links to buy tools and stuff like that, because that enables us to continue to buy more and more, like you see here, that we can keep testing for you. Okay, so they were just setting this up with all of the new Q1 promos and the OPE, all of the new OPE equipment that they brought in. And so this is selling for $149. But you guys know me too well by now, folks, because I did not pay $149.99 for that, because I went in there with my Lowe's 10% off coupon, which Home Depot accepts, and applied it towards it. And you can see right here on my receipt that instead of paying $149 for this, I paid $134. All right, so let's see what's in the box. Okay, now as we take stock of everything that we have here in the kit, here of course is the base unit, and then it comes with here, the stem just kind of plugs right in right there, and you turn it and twist it and it locks into place. And I like the brass sprayer at the end there, quick connect. And we have a battery protector here on the bottom. This whole housing here goes right around the battery and protects it, just like on the Ryobi and the Hart. And by the way, I'll put a link down in the video description below for you of those two videos that we did last year to compare those two. And what I really like about the Dewalt is, you know, for the added price that they're charging you for this thing compared to the Ryobi, they're giving you the soap gun here. And so what I like about this is, you know, this will help you quickly suds your car, just like within seconds, your whole car is done. Now, when we did the video review on the Ryobi and on the Hart last summer, the Hart comes with one also. The Ryobi does not, but the Hart version of the soap gun bottle fits the Ryobi. Now, they kind of looked okay. They weren't like the best. They were nowhere near as good as my regular car detailing soap gun. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how well the Dewalt works. Also, your Dewalt Power Cleaner comes with this 20-foot hose. So this is a siphon hose. So what you do is you plug this onto the bottom of the unit, and then this end with the filter goes into a 5-gallon bucket of water, and you can use it to siphon the water out. Now, this is great for somebody that has to go mobile, or maybe you're pulling your boat out of the boat ramp, and while you're right there and maybe there's no water close by, you have 5 gallons that you can spray all over the side of your boat there. Now, this Dewalt 550 PSI power cleaner comes with 4 different nozzles here. So this one here, you have that's the 15 degree, the 25 degree, the 40 degree, and then you have a turbo nozzle as well. And what I like about these, if you look closely at them, is that these all have that quick disconnect. This is why I always tell people to read the manual, because one interesting thing that Dewalt points out in the manual here is that they don't want you to store this tool in locations where the temperature may exceed 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So that means like metal sheds, stuff like that, when it gets really hot out in the summer. My guess is it might cause the plastic to deform or melt, who knows what. And it might be dangerous for the battery too. Now, I like the fact that there's built-in storage right along the top here for our 3 angled nozzles. So they just kind of wedge right into the rubber there. That's a brilliant idea. I wish that Ryobi and Hart had done the same thing. Of course, they don't come with any. On the Ryobi and on the Heart, you sort of just twist and click the nozzle to get what you want. So that's a different way of doing it too. Okay, so right here is the front end connection point of your spray wand for your Dewalt Power Cleaner. And this is a standard 1/4 inch quick connect. And so the way this works is you pull back on here, you stick the nozzle in there, and then you'll hear it click, and you always check to make sure it's in there solidly. And that's how the quick disconnects work. Because you might want to remove this nozzle here and just try a limited angle sprayer right here, like that, see? And always double check. See how that came loose? You always want to make sure it goes in and then it gets stuck right there. Okay, so now to connect your hose to this Dewalt Power Cleaner, what's interesting here, this is kind of strange. It's the only one that I've seen on the market so far that has this. You have to screw this quick connect filter on here first. So there's a filter in here, and that attaches to the threaded part. You don't put your hose directly onto that, okay? What you do is you screw this end onto your hose, and then now you have a quick connect. So let's do that. And then this part connects onto the garden hose, and then you have a quick connect here. But you don't want to put this on first. You want to screw this onto the hose first. Adapt it right onto the end of the garden hose. Now you have a quick connect here. See? And so this is how you connect your garden hose up to your Dewalt Power Cleaner. Okay, now your Dewalt Power Cleaner here has a very interesting triggering action, and where you have to swivel this out of the way. See, if you try to just pull the trigger now, that's automatically locked. So it's on like a little swivelly spring mechanism, and you use your pointer finger like that to move it out of the way, and now you can pull the trigger. Very simple action there. It's all done at once too. You don't have to do anything stupid with any side motions of any other fingers like I've seen on other tools. It's just one finger can do it. This looks like probably two, even like that. That's probably the best way to do it like that. Now as you look on the back here, you can see we have two speeds. We have low up there, or you can set it there to high. Move it back up to low again. Okay, now to change batteries, here's the battery housing, and I'm not sure I like this thing. Let me show you this. So you just kind of unsnap the door. It's on a hinge. It's hinged up here. But if you look closely, it's just a thin plastic tab that goes over this little feature here. And so watch how it snaps in. So, I mean, that's the only thing that locks it in place. I don't know how long that's going to last. Maybe it is super tough. I don't know. Take a look at it again head on. Here's the little connection point right there where it latches, and it just goes and snaps right over that. So I hope that lasts. I just don't have a warm and fuzzy about that, but who knows? Maybe it's tough enough plastic, because you really have to pull, you have to give it a little tug there with your fingers to get that thing to open. So I'm just wondering if these are going to wear down after a while. Okay, now as we open up the battery compartment, you can see in there how your batteries slide in. So I'm going to just take this tiny little 2 amp hour, and that's how it goes in right there. Then you shut the door. Okay, let me try it with a larger one. I have this is a 6 amp hour flex volt battery. But remember, this is not a flex volt tool, but it will just act as 20 volts, but it should last longer. Okay, so it looks to me like the 6 amp hour is probably the largest it's going to accommodate. See, so there it is right there. So there it is there. You just close the door down, push it in, snap it into lock, and you're off to the races. Here's a sticker on the bottom that Dewalt is telling you that you need to use a 4 amp hour battery or higher capacity. And it's kind of interesting because they call it a 5 amp hour power cleaner on the box itself that it comes in. So I thought that was kind of ironic. Now, of course, I always recommend using the biggest battery you can fit into your device, especially on those Milwaukee rocket lights there, where you need to have 6 amp hour, 8 amp hour batteries on those things, or they're not going to last you more than a few hours. Okay, now if you want to hook up your soap gun, you have to remove the sprayer off of there. And the way this is done is you push in and twist, and it comes right out like that, see? See how it's keyed? You just go vertical in like that, and then boom. Then you take your soap gun, your soap nozzle here, and you're going to put it vertical also, like that, see? and then twist it down, and there you go, you're in. All right, so here's something that I find slightly annoying is that I know it's not going to balance, right? Because, you know, the whole weight right here is going to make it unbalanced, even with a big battery in there. So I know I'm not going to be able to stand it on its own on the table. But if I want to hold it like this while I change something here, like when I change one of these, I can do it. It's not a big deal. But it's wobbly. It wants to wobble and walk all over the place. Why is that? Well, let's take a look. Okay, so when you look at the bottom of it, this is really strange. You got these features here that only go about, what, 1/3 the way across, and it makes this thing want to just teeter. I don't understand that. It just doesn't make any sense at all to me. It might have something to do with the fact that this is part of where it mounts on the wall, but I just don't know. This whole thing should be flat on the bottom. So here is your Dewalt Power Cleaner side by side with the Ryobi Easy Clean, and you can see how the Ryobi is just nice and flat on the bottom. See? So if I want it to stand, it will stand pretty stable, even though I may have to hold it because of the weight of the nozzle on there. Okay, so here's both of the Dewalt and the Ryobi Easy Clean right next to each other so you can see how they compare, right? And I'll put them this way here for you as well so you can see. So the Dewalt is noticeably bigger. They feel like they're about the same weight. Once I have the battery in this, I'd be able to feel it better, but they handle pretty good. They both handle good. Yeah. The main difference here is that the Dewalt has 3 different sprayers here that you'll attach to the end of your wand, whereas the Ryobi has it all on the end of the wand. And guess what, folks? My record remains perfect on always finding a mistake in somebody's manual. Every Dewalt product I've bought in the past year, I find mistakes in the manual. And here's one right here. So here's the diagram for the soap bottle, and it says 12 right here. But when you look here on the lookup, it actually says turbo nozzle. 13 should be the soap bottle, so they blew it, you know? It's like, all right, look, you only had one job to do, buddy, all right? Put the correct number right here in the manual as you're making the manual. You had one job to do, and you blew it. Okay, so here's the basic operation of how the soap gun works. You pull it out here, you pour in your soap mixture, and usually you have to use a special mixture that's made for soap guns. It's a special type of car washing soap, car shampoo. And I usually have to mail order it because you can't find it in most of the auto parts stores. So part of the system is you can see the little filter right here at the bottom, and then it's all part of the siphon tube there, and you screw it on like that. Okay, and then what happens is the water comes from the machine's shooting that pressurized water through here, and it shoots out, of course, through this end, and by doing that it creates a suction that pulls the soapy water out with it. And I guess they've figured everything out, calculated it, designed that slit to be the right way, and we'll see if that does indeed turn out to be correct. Now this right here is my regular professional soap gun, and I normally connect it up to my garden hose. I have a regular standard quick connect right there. So that allows me to go from this to my sprayer to whatever tool I want to put on the end of my garden hose very rapidly. So I want to try to do that here with the Dewalt. See, so normally on all of my garden products, I'll take something like this and I'll screw it into the housing, but on the Dewalt you can't do that. See, this would then give me the standard quick connect here that would match. What I'm trying to do is put a standard quick connect on here that will match my hose so that I can either put the Dewalt on there, or here see my soap gun, or any other device. The problem is Dewalt went against the convention that everybody else did, and they went with a male portion sticking out here instead of a female end of a garden hose type thing. So this component will not work. What I need to do is I need to get a female version of this part right here to screw onto the bottom. So it's going to be cumbersome the way they did it. And see, the problem is even though Dewalt gave us this here, this quick connect here will not plug onto a standard one because it's just not the right size. See, it's not the right shape or anything. There's nothing about it that's correct. See, so if they had just gone with the regular standard, I don't even know if this is a Dewalt proprietary or not, but that puts that idea to rest for now until I can get a different version of this part. Okay, now here's what we did on the Ryobi and on the Heart. Is, see, this will now screw into there, right into their bottom perfectly. That way I can get rid of their crappy little plastic one that they had. Now I have a nice brass fitting, and it's perfect. And now this will quick connect onto the end of any of my garden hoses, because I have fitted all of my garden hoses with a quick connect that looks similar to this, but it's brass and it will fit onto those. Okay, next we're going to try our Dewalt Power Sprayer right here. This is on the cement slab where our air conditioner is attached. And I want to see if this can clean off any of these stains. Let's give that a try. Yeah, it looks like it's actually doing a pretty good job of it right there, see? Now these have been there probably for, I don't even, years. Like I don't know when this was ever cleaned. But look at this, see? And let's see if I go back and even widen the turbo a little bit. It's still able to clean it. It takes a little bit longer. You have to dwell on it a little more. But so you find that happy medium of being real close and getting it small and taking longer, or do you back up a little and let it go a little wider swath and it will still clean it, but it takes longer. So yeah, just longer. So this means I'll be able to clean my curves. I use concrete curves. They were on the gardens. So I think that should be able to clean them. But you do really have to work at finding that fine line about how close you want to be. And you should never, by the way, on the sidewalks, it's fine here on the slab. But on sidewalks, you should not be using an attachment like this. You should be using my giant whirly-bird attachment that I have, 21 inches wide. Just fine curves and small areas. They don't chop the weeds though. Okay, so now I want to try something here to see if our Dewalt Power Cleaner can help us out here. This is something I'm really miffed about. So we bought this brand new $10,000 Dave Lennox Signature Series air conditioner a few months ago and had it installed. But then when we had the house painted, see this nice color behind me here? They came by and they pressure cleaned the roof, which is all clay tiles, and they didn't cover this, so there's just droplets of dust and dirt and nasty red clay all over it here. So as you can see here, you can see all of the reddish color here that just flowed down here. Okay, so now we'll take a white cloth and just wipe it across the top. I want to see if any clay color comes off on it. Yeah, you can see a little bit. See the little reddish orange there? So I think it probably did get rid of most of it. Maybe I'll just let the rest of this air dry and we'll tell for sure whether there's still any caked on there. Well, I think on the front here, on the top of the AC where the grate is, I think it's capable of cleaning it, but I think you just need to get in there with, see how it loosened it and everything? I think you just need to get in there with a little, like a car wash mitt or something while you're doing this. Just like, look, you see down here on the slab, this is where we showed you earlier, and we only cleaned up to this spot. Remember, we didn't clean the rest of it there? So it just shows you how well it actually does do a pretty decent job on the cement here. Okay, so let's test it out and see how it does. Alright, so just the preliminary first spray here. It doesn't look like it's going to be any more powerful than the Hart pressure cleaner or the Ryobi Easy Clean there, both of which are 320 PSI, and I'm even doubtful about theirs. So let's try it over here on this fence where we did the same test with the Ryobi, and you can see all of this green over here on the fence that the Ryobi cleaner and the Hart cleaners were both unable to remove. Now we're going to try it here along the fence and see if it gets rid of any of those green stains there. So you'll notice I'm coming down at it at about a 45-degree angle. That's the best angle to get at. See, it looks like it's sort of doing it. You can see the marks that it's making on the wood there. But down here, I don't know, that green still looks like it's there. It's not really coming loose, but look right up here. Okay, it looks like it's cleaning that part. See, I can get in as close as I want, like that, for a tighter one. Or I can back it up and go wider. I can go as wide as the whole plank and give it a more gentle wash. Pull off the big nozzle. Let's try the yellow one. That's going to be the smallest one. This gives it more intense also in a smaller area. See? This doesn't seem to be as strong as the turbo nozzle. But we'll see when this is dried off how good of a job it actually did removing any of that green that you saw. Okay, now as we look along the bottom of the fence here, you can see it actually cleaned it a little better than the Ryobi did. So we cleaned it, I think, like the first, what was it, 5 or 6 planks or so. And it does look a little lighter and less green. So if you look over to the right, see, there's the green that we started off with. So it definitely does do a much better job on the fence than the Ryobi did. I thought the Ryobi was bordering on useless. And like I said, I doubt whether the Ryobi even has 300 PSI. It just didn't feel like it was much stronger than the garden hose at all. And the Dewalt didn't feel much stronger either, but there's something about their turbo that maybe there is a little more oomph to it. Okay, you guys ready to go wash a car, man? I want to see how well this thing suds up. Let's go give it a shot, huh? Before we suds up the car, I want to see how well our Dewalt Power Cleaner here will do on the wheels. Now, we already cleaned these a few weeks ago, but you could see a lot of dirt already starting to collect up on here. So I want to see how well it can do with maybe the turbo nozzle on here. And if you haven't seen our other channel, our carbuyingtips.com channel, we do a lot of product comparisons over there in addition to all of the car buying guides and, you know, how to avoid dealer scams and all that. But we do a lot of comparisons between different car care products. And we have a whole series of videos over there that we'll put a link to down in the description below for you. That'll talk about cleaning the wheels and all that. Because no pressure cleaner on its own and no soap on its own is just going to get in there and magically make everything come off. It all takes some kind of mechanical agitation like brushing to remove all of the dirt. All right, here we go. So this area right here is where I see a lot of dirt collected up here. Let's try it out. I like to try to get it right on the drum, because if you can get the drum nice and clean, it gets really shiny on the outside too, because it reflects all of that light around, and it just really adds much more sparkle to your wheels. We'll let that dry on its own and we'll see. I just want to see if any of that dirt came off on its own without any soap or without any brushing. Okay, now here on the rear wheel, you can see there's some kind of dirt and stuff over there. We'll see if that comes off. And I'm seeing a little more on that side as well. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so it did get rid of all of this here, and then I saw that you could probably barely even, I don't even know if you saw it on the camera, but there was a little bit of a shadow of some dirt that was over here that it got rid of. So we'll see when this dries how everything looks. All right, so I'm going to take a piece of white paper towel here and just generally wipe some of these areas right here down at the bottom where I sprayed and see if any dirt comes off with it. Yeah, you can see a little bit came with it, so it shows that the sprayer doesn't get everything. And you know what? I wouldn't expect it to at this pressure level. For this kind of dirt, you know, you really want something that's well over 1,000 PSI, I think. Most of your professional car detailers use the sprayers that go 1,000 PSI. Look at this, see how dirty this is here? So it probably loosened a lot of it and shot some of it away, but there's still some on here. This is why I always tell people you really got to get in there good with the specialized cleaners that are made for the wheels that dissolve the iron. And then some of them actually, like the Meguiar's and the Sonax, some of them will actually turn purple as you're rinsing them too. And then of course, anytime I can ever get a wheel off my car for whatever reason, I get in, I scrub and clean the back side of the barrel from the other side of the wheel from up top, which is, you know, better. Okay, now here on the rear wheel, remember it was really dirty right here? Let's see how that looks there. See, there's still some left. So it means that maybe the water didn't shoot all of it away, but there was definitely some left on there. So these are going to be useful, I think more so in the rinsing phase. Okay, so here is our Dewalt soap gun, and here it is compared to my professional soap gun that I normally use, right? So it's got some big shoes to fill here. Now remember, when you're doing a soap gun, you don't just put regular car wash in there. You have to use a specific soap that's made for soap guns, and this one is here. So this soap foam, this is a high sudsing formula that's made for soap guns and soap cannons. So I usually pour in 2 ounces of the soap into 8 ounces of the water. And I usually just mix it inside the thing too. And you got to stir it up because you'll see the gel will sink to the bottom otherwise. See? So you want to stir it up so that it's nice and evenly blue. Okay, so now we're just going to spray the car and get it wet first. So there's our Dewalt Power Cleaner with the victim in the background. Okay, here we go. Let's see how long it takes before it starts sudsing. If it suds. Yeah, see? Okay, now. It doesn't seem like there's a whole... I mean, it's coming out sudsing and everything and landing on the car all right, but it's way too watery and not enough suds. Because you guys have seen some of our other videos on our carbuyingtips.com channel. So you know what it looks like when we suds a car up. This is not all that sudsy, although it is coating it with the water and everything. See, in 1 8-ounce batch should do your entire car. So you can see it's doing it okay, just not nearly enough of what it should be. It's just not thick enough. But it is a quick way to soap a car. See? Yeah, and it's ironic, the closer you get to the bottom of the batch here, the more it starts to get a little thicker. But still, this isn't even anywhere near as foamy as this foam gun is supposed to be. So it seems, and there's no way to adjust it as far as I can tell. I don't think they have a way to adjust this. And so you're stuck with whatever setting they made on here. See? But like I said, look, see, the closer you get to the bottom, the better it is. See, as you look here on the hood, I mean, it's not bad. It did indeed coat the car with all the soapy water, but I think just too much water. Because take a look at this scene here, and just look how much soap goes on when we use our soap gun. You can see it's just a night and day difference here. And man, if you have a high pressure cleaner like over 1,000 PSI, if you have one of those units using a soap cannon instead of a soap gun, you'll get like shaving cream where it just clings to the car. I am just going to spray off the car here with the high pressure on here and see if it's enough to give this car a lazy man's car wash without having to whip out the sponges and the buckets and all that. I want to see if it got rid of all the dirt and stuff that was on the hood there and along the side and the back of the car on the trunk. So let's try it out. I think I want to try one of these guys. One of these other nozzles here. Let's see what it does. See, so here I could turn it like this and get a nice wide swath up and down the side of the car. Here it is. It's right here. The windshield. Oh, it's very dusty back here, so I want to see how well it did clean all this. So I'll touch this car wash. Just a quick 2 minutes down, and then stop down, and then 5 minutes spray down. And I love this. This is my California dry blade. I use this all over the car to rapidly scrape all of the water off of the car before you even have to dry it. That way it's mostly dry before you even get to it, and there's no water droplets because it just scrapes everything off, right? So that way you don't have water stains on there. And then whatever I don't get with that, I'll finish up here with our absorbing towel that's made for this very purpose. See? So I'll put links to all of these down in the video description below for you. Now you can see how fast this evacuates all of the water off of the body of the car, leaving just a very minimal amount to come back and soak up. You should be able to do the whole car in about 5 minutes. Yeah, just look how short a time it's taken to do just the hood here, see? Then I just come and get the rest with my super absorbent comb towel, honeycomb towel. Okay, so as we can see here, the Dewalt Power Cleaner actually did quite a good job here on the car. And remember, all we did was use it to spray soap on there, and then we just used the pressure cleaner part of it to hose it off with a little bit of aggressive stream of water. We didn't use any wash mitts or brushes or anything. And then here's my water absorbing towel, and you can see there's a little bit of dirt, not a whole lot. So you can see that the Dewalt cleaner got most of it off of the car. Remember, this was used to clean the entire car. So it shows you how it got most of the dirt off of there. And now likewise here on the back of the car and on the trunk, you can see how good of a job that the Dewalt Power Cleaner did cleaning off all of the dirt. And remember, all we did, same thing on the front, we just did the soap suds, and then we sprayed it with the pressure stream, and then we just cleaned it up here with our absorbent towel here to absorb all of the water. Yeah, so just look at all of this black filthy dirt that's all over the back of the truck here. Okay, so now we're going to test our Dewalt Power Cleaner in the siphon mode, where instead of connecting it up to the garden hose, we're going to fill this bucket with 5 gallons of water and use the siphon hose that came in the kit and connect it up here. And we're going to see how well it can suck water out of here and spray it on this car. Now we have our SUV here is filthy. It somehow got a whole bunch of black dirt on the back of it. So we want to see how well this can do on here, and we're going to spray it on here without using soap and without using any, mitts or anything like that. We just want to see if the aggressive stream of water from this is enough to clean all of this dirt off of here by itself. Okay, so just like with the garden hose, the siphon hose actually comes with its own quick connect. So you just put it right on there like this, and it clicks into place. There you have it. Okay, so we're filling up the bucket now with 5 gallons of water. And there's even some dirt along here too. Sometimes you don't realize that a white car is dirty until you remove some of that dirt film. See that? So we'll see if it can take care of that as well. And then look down at the bottom of that quarter panel here. See, right down in here. We'll see if it can get rid of all of that. Now, this is the siphon here, the filter. And Dewalt tells you to keep this cleaned frequently. So you want to continuously rinse that thing off after you've used it. And we'll put our float right there. We'll see how well this guy can maintain. I want to make sure he's all the way down at the bottom there. Okay, so you'll notice I'm using the white tip on here instead of the turbo, because I just want to get a nice wide swath of decent aggressive water going. Let's see how well it does. There we go. You can see all the dirt going there. Now you can see we've already done this half here. Take a look at this close-up shot of the dirt and everything in here. Let's see how well it does there. See? And check this out, man, here. The band played on. Look, we've only used up a little bit of the water here. And I was running this thing almost 2 minutes or so. A lot of it off camera. All right, so now let's see how well it does in this filthy lower part of this right rear quarter panel here. See it all running down dirty black? And it's cleaning it. It's doing it, folks. It's cutting right through all of that dirt. Look at the very bottom there. Watch right here in this spot. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to take my California dry blade, just wipe off the excess water there. Then I'm going to take my microfiber cloth and I want to just wipe it and see how much dirt comes off on it. So did the pressure cleaner get rid of all of that dirt? You saw how filthy it was down here too, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it left a fair amount of dirt on there that we couldn't see. Some of it was embedded down here. So that meant it really needed a little bit of soap and some mechanical agitation with a cloth or a wash mitt. But you can see how, even though we're in the cloud, we're in sort of a sunset cloud cover right now, you can sort of see the pearlized white. This thing really glows in the daytime. It's incredible. Okay, so let's take a look at the rate at which the water level drops in the bucket as we're spraying this. I want to see how fast it siphons, if you can see it moving. Well, you can see we let it run about a minute and the water level dropped an inch. So I guess that tells you have about an inch per minute. Now the box does tell you that it's about a gallon per minute. By the way, one thing I didn't tell you folks is that I was doing all of this testing here with the Dewalt Power Cleaner set in low power mode. This wasn't even in high power mode. Okay, so my first impressions of this Dewalt Power Cleaner is that, yeah, it is pretty good. It's, I think, noticeably better than the Ryobi. Now, the Ryobi, remember, cost $79. This is double the price. This is $149. But I do like the fact that the Dewalt gives you, in addition to the turbo nozzle there, it gives you these 3 extra nozzles that you can just very quickly change. However, the Ryobi one has it built into the turret where you can just turn them. Anyway, I think that the soap guns that are supplied with for both of these, whether you buy the Hart or the Ryobi or this Dewalt cleaner, the soap guns are only so-so. This one actually does a decent job with it, as you saw. It does give you a nice soapy water over your car, but it's not sudsy like it should be, especially since I put high suds formula in there that's made for an actual foam gun, like you saw in the video there, how it normally is supposed to work. Well, that's it for this week, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next one.